The Switch 2 just released. I am so excited to put this against the Steam Deck. According to ChatGPT, it's not as powerful, just a hair shy, but we're still gonna put these two handheld titans head to head. What do you think is gonna matter more? Raw horsepower, or is that Nintendo magic gonna be able to save the day? I'm gonna be answering all those questions and more. All right, so this isn't gonna be super in-depth. I'm not focusing on exact frames a second, the pixel count, the weight, none of that. There's already people doing that and they're a lot smarter than me. That's not really what I wanna do. I wanna go over what's got better battery, what looks better, what feels better. So let's be chivalrous to the new baby boy in the family and look at the Off rip, the Switch 2 is really nice to hold. It's got a decent amount more of weight to it than I expected, a lot more close to the deck than the original Switch or even the OLED. There's also this really nice matte texture that feels good on the phalanges. The sticks are nice and smooth, buttons got a nice creaminess to them, kind of like a keyboard. Also, it feels tough. This feels like a real piece of high-end tech. Comparing it to the Switch OLED or the OG, that was built like a leapfrog toy in comparison. And the Steam Deck does seem a little bulky at first, but I think it feels great. I will say, with the right game, this thing gives the PS4 jet engine to run for their money. I do, though, really enjoy the feel of the deck. It makes it seem like a 90s piece of ultra tech that you'd only find in movies. The difference between the Switch 2 and the Steam Deck is a hand chop versus a food processor, a rapier versus a broadsword, 100 men versus a gorilla. At the end of the day, they're gonna do exactly the same thing, but in slightly different ways. And let's be real, you'll end up getting one of those Pro Joy-Con grips that'll make it feel just like a Steam Deck anyway. Before we go into the downloads, why don't you go down into the description box below or the pinned comment and load yourself into my Discord server. First try. It's a group of gamers just like yourself. Everyone is super nice, and this is something I've genuinely prayed to God for on nearly a daily basis. And I'll be honest, that's exactly what I want to do. I want to build a group of gamers that look out for one another, that care for each other, and I want to bring as many people as I can closer to God. If that offends you, I'm sorry. Just know that God loves you, okay? But back to the video. So for this test, I wanted to make it as fair as possible, and I'm gonna be using two games here. We got Cyberpunk 2077 and Elden Ring. I'm downloading both of these games handheld, plugged in the middle of the day. These are two powerhouses of games, and I really wanted to push the limits with the deck and the Switch 2. Now, to be fair, I am playing Cyberpunk 2077 through the Heroic Games Launcher just because I have it on GOG, but they're both 70 gigabytes. It's gonna be fine, guys. It's going to be fine. Elden Ring was just shy at 31 minutes, and Cyberpunk 2077, I don't know. My camera died when I was recording, but when I checked, the stopwatch said 38 minutes, so I'm gonna guess it was maybe 34 or 35 minutes. So I started downloading Cyberpunk at around 8:30 this morning. It's about 2:30 right now as I'm recording this. It's only at 55%. Oh, hit 56 now, great. Awesome. I bet a lot of people are just downloading eShop games, the servers are getting bottlenecked, but still, what the dude? And I know it's that because when I was downloading all this last night from my old Switch to my new Switch, it was downloading fine, like it was nothing. I just wish I downloaded Cyberpunk then. Now I wouldn't have to deal with this, I could play the damn thing. I literally have not played my Switch 2 at all. I waited 6 hours in line for this fucking thing, I can't even play it. I was getting so fed up with this download, I packed my Switch, my iPad, drove all the way to my parents' house, tried downloading it there, wouldn't work, didn't get faster, so I just came back home, and it's been 3 hours since then.
This literally just finished downloading. My God, it's 6:30 and it finished downloading now.
Okay, now that we got Cyberpunk on both the Switch 2 and the Steam Deck, it's time to see how the game...
Creeper. Oh man.
And it's at this point you're probably thinking, Nintendo and CD just dropped footage of Cyberpunk running on Switch 2, you don't need to do this? Big brain moves there, bucko. Let's trust CDPR with Cyberpunk. They definitely wouldn't skew footage to get us excited for a product they knew wasn't gonna launch well at all. And the biggest reason for this, there is a vast difference between how a game looks on YouTube versus how it's going to feel playing it. When I was playing Cyberpunk on my deck, the first thing I noticed was that the UI is so small, every guy is telling their girl that it's average size. Usually for these handhelds, you play these games at a lower setting, so that makes the UI a lot more legible. Cyberpunk felt like I was viewing the game from a theater, but the screen is a mile away. The controls feel heavy, unresponsive, inconsistently snappy. I did not like this game. Cyberpunk is just bad. On a side note, why does Cyberpunk take so much control away from you? Why can't I drive the cars? All right, this is like the first hour of the game of a full-fledged RPG. Gotta take with a little grain of salt, but my God, this has to be the worst first hour of any AAA game I've ever played. Cyberpunk, more like cyber fucking gay! So I can't really explain it, but playing Cyberpunk on my Steam Deck didn't feel like I was actually playing it on my Steam Deck. It gave off a feeling I was pretending to play this game, but what was displayed on my screen was a YouTube video. Elden Ring, on the other hand, felt incredible. And it's not on Switch 2 either! I thought Elden Ring was supposed to be a Switch 2 launch title. What the f? I am so flabbergasted. I bought the game and had a good amount of content in this video completely dedicated to Elden Ring. Now it's unusable. Good grief. But moving to Cyberpunk on Switch 2, I'm not gonna lie, I really liked it. My only major gripe was the controls felt a little cramped, but that's also the Joy-Cons themselves. It ran and looked way better on the new baby boy than the overweight heathen, I'd say. I just never expected a game like this to be a launch title for a Nintendo console ever. But how long can you play these handhelds for? I bet you're wondering. I was blown away with the mileage that I got playing Cyberpunk and Elden Ring on my deck. I wanted to play these devices till I hit 10% battery life, but I was getting really nervous on how long I was going to be playing Cyberpunk for. God, that was a long hour. I am not liking this game. So I just did an hour of gameplay. Playing my Steam Deck for an hour, Cyberpunk got me down to 34%, and on Cyberpunk, I had to manually go into the settings to lower because this frame rate was putrid. All right, let's just try this on the Switch too. Hopefully it runs somewhat better.
1 hour later.
I've been playing Cyberpunk on my Switch 2 for an hour now. Oh my God, it only went down 50%? That's crazy. And before I get anyone saying it's because I was playing it on airplane mode, I played it on airplane mode also on the Steam Deck. Bro, that's actually crazy because that looks, runs, feels way better on the Switch 2 than when I played it on my Steam Deck. But you also got to take into consideration, I probably didn't tweak the settings the way I really should have. I was also playing it on GOG through the Heroic Games launcher. But dude, at the end of the day, it was better on Switch 2. That's all I'm gonna say. I actually really enjoyed the game now. I can't wait to play it. Let's keep it a buck, all right? We're calling a spade a spade. You and most people are gonna be getting a Switch 2. It offers a more unique gameplay experience. It's the one that most of your friends are gonna be on. It's more convenient than the deck, and there's no finagling. The deck may be a superior platform when it comes to higher specs, and that comes with the jimmying around you gotta do with PC games, tweaking around your settings to get the best gameplay experience. You may be one of those people that enjoys finessing around the settings in their game. And it is a ton of fun realizing that, oh my God, just doing this, I'm getting a lot more out of my game. The Switch 2, you just boot up the game, it's optimized, it works. The deck is not like that. And that also comes with the fact that not every game is gonna be playable on the deck. Yes, I am aware it could download every game on your Steam library, but some games aren't Linux compatible. So if you have an EA or an Activision Blizzard game, because of the anti-cheats they have, they don't support Linux, you're not gonna be able to play it. I'm looking at you, Plants vs. Zombies. Also, you gotta realize that your Steam Deck is not playing the latest and greatest from these publishers. Oblivion Remastered, Spider-Man 2, Monster Hunter Wilds. Yeah, they'll boot up and do the job to the purest definition of serviceable and adequate, but it's not ideal. You probably know that though going in, of course, and aim to play less demanding or older games on these platforms, and some of them, dude, good luck. A lot of Steam games from the 2010s to combat piracy have you input a key for a game you already own, and this sucks. I have a few games that I'd love to get down and dirty with, but because of this, I can't. Not to mention, I've given EA and Activision Blizzard but Ubisoft is no better. Every time I boot up AC Unity, I have to log into their launcher even though I have it set to save password. And if I'm disconnected from the internet, I just can't play this? And also getting your non-Steam games to work on the deck from GOG, Epic, or ethical borrowing. This does feel awesome. Hell, if you saw one of my previous videos, I couldn't get the PS3 emulator to run right, but I got it working now. It's awesome. My issue was saving the games on a micro SD card that wasn't fast enough to read or write the data. It was good for PS2 games, but PS3, The Switch 2 and the Steam Deck are both killer handhelds. At the end of the day though, what do you want? Do you want a PC where you could do basically anything? Or do you want something a little more basic? Yeah, the Switch 2 isn't as powerful, but so far I think it runs a little smoother than the deck ever did. I'm gonna be using both very extensively, and I cannot wait to see what the future of handhelds entail.